Do you ever feel stressed at work? Haha. Don't even bother answering. Of course you do. We all do. Sometimes it's good and it can get things up and moving, but sometimes when it lasts for too long, it's clearly not good for us. So what can you do about it? Welcome back to NeuroConversant Leadership, where we love to talk about effective leadership and communication in the STEM workplace. I'm Jeremy Doran, and I love to help great engineers become great managers. When you're at work and you're feeling stress, what do you do about it? And why would it be better? Sometimes people love the adrenaline and it gets them going and it feels like you're being more productive. But when you have the ability to be calm, it does a few really important things at work. It helps you make better decisions. You've heard the term calm under pressure. That refers to people who are forced into making a decision, and rather than getting all hyped up about it and rushing to something, they're able to remain calm and make a good decision. And it's pretty interesting. What I've found is when I am rushed, it takes me longer to tie my sneakers than when I'm not rushed because I try to force it. And the stress of trying to get out the door on time makes even something I've been doing all my life almost, like tying my shoes, that much more difficult. So staying calm under pressure helps you solve problems and make better decisions. It also helps reduce conflict. How many times has a conflict arisen because one person was just stressed? And, you may have gone to them with something that was pretty reasonable and they snapped at you. So staying calm can help reduce conflict, and it just makes your life better. So like I said, a little bit of stress is good, or short bursts of a lot of stress is okay. But when it's just continued and goes on, it makes your life more difficult. It makes your life less happy and less pleasant. So finding a way to be calm and relaxed is better for you at work, and it's better for your coworkers. Coworkers want someone who is calm. They especially want someone who can remain calm under pressure when it's their boss or a leader in the company. The ability of a leader to remain calm is going to help with communication. And I've talked about this before. The number one complaint of people who leave a company or quit a company is poor communication within the company. Being able to remain calm helps people communicate better. And being calm under pressure or under fire even helps build trust. And people are going to follow the people that they trust. They're not going to follow the people who they don't trust or who flake out because they can't handle stress. So you got to find a way to handle it, but we all have it, and there's a lot of it. That's just the way our business lives work these days. So 2 things that people will often recommend are the same things I'm going to recommend, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why. So people will often talk about exercise, and they'll say, spend some time outdoors. Exercise is a really good one. The stress of work builds cortisol and adrenaline, which are stress hormones in your body. And they build up, and they don't have a way of leaving. So it can almost feel like these chemicals are crackling in your brain. When you exercise, it uses up and burns the cortisol and the adrenaline. So you're getting rid of those chemicals that are help keeping you stressed. And the other thing that exercise does is stimulates endorphins, which make you feel better and calmer. So it's doing a lot of chemical things. It's also giving you some time away from the things that are giving you stress. If you're able to just focus on lifting the weights or running or swimming or whatever it is that you're doing, you're not necessarily thinking about the work things that have been stressing you out. And the last thing it does is helps improve sleep. So it's been proven that people who exercise more get better sleep. And it's also been proven that people who get better sleep have reduced stress, communicate better, make better decisions. It's kind of a cycle that helps build upon itself. So that's exercise. The other one they talk about is spend time outside. But that's kind of amorphous, right? There have been studies, I recently read one, that talks about how much time in nature is the most efficient. The more you spend, obviously, the better. But at some point, it starts to have diminishing returns. The single most efficient way to do it is 20 minutes 3 times a week. That's only 1 hour a week. And that gets you the most benefit per time outside. And the question is why? Why is outdoor time better, or time in nature, if you can think about it as time in nature. One might be vitamin D. Vitamin D has been shown to help improve people's moods. Another thing is that being out in sunlight triggers serotonin. Serotonin is a thing that you've surely heard about. That's in a lot of medications people get. Sunlight automatically triggers that, which is going to help you be calmer and happier. Sunlight also affects how your sleep patterns are regulated. Artificial light doesn't do it, but natural light affects how your body's going to sleep, know when it's time to sleep. And again, sleeping better is a great way to improve everything else in your life. But here's the interesting one that I hadn't thought of before, and it's fractals. Fractals are basically when a pattern repeats and expands as it goes. So think about leaves. Leaves or branches will start with one main stalk, and then a number of smaller stalks go off from that, and then a bunch smaller off from that. And that's what we have been living with for millions of years. It's what our brains are used to, and our brains process fractals really, really efficiently, and fractals are soothing to our brains. When you are in a city and you look around, you're going to see very few fractals. Buildings are very straight lines. Everything is square and solid. We're hardwired to efficiently process and like fractals. So the more time you can spend around them, the better. In nature, they're everywhere, like trees, rivers, the leaves, like we talked about. Helps make us calmer, but sometimes you can't go out into a forest, even if on your walk you can walk by a tree and just pay attention to the tree. If you are in a place where you can't even do that, get a plant. Have a plant in your office. Plants have fractals too. So I find it interesting that all the obvious ones like vitamin D, sunlight, serotonin are great. When you add in the fractals, that gives you an extra way to get quote unquote nature by having plants, trees, things around you and paying attention to them. If you can combine the two, it's even better. So if you can exercise outside, even if it's going for a 20-minute walk 3 times a week, try to find a park, something that has natural light, fractals, and air. Fresh air goes a long way as well. So of course you're stressed at work. We're all stressed at work. Some people handle it a little bit better than others, and I would contend that those people most likely exercise, get time out in nature, and even more likely, they combine them by getting exercise out in nature. Once you start doing this and you find that you're able to be a little bit more calm and level at work, I think that you're going to find that work just starts to go better. Your decision-making gets better, fewer conflicts. People are going to start trusting you more, and communication is going to improve. And that's what we're here for. Leadership, communication, especially in the STEM workplace. I'm Jeremy. I really appreciate you being here. I look forward to talking again next week. Thank you so much for listening to NeuroConversant Leadership. If you found this beneficial, can you do me one small favor? It'll be quick, I promise. Can you go and give this podcast a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever it is that you listen before doing anything else? Unless you're driving. If you're driving, then I need you to keep driving. And then when you're done and parked, then go ahead and give me a review. Hopefully 5 stars, but whatever you are comfortable honestly giving. Thank you and have a great day.